The Middle East is facing a critical moment, and Tehran has drawn new red lines in a move that has sent shockwaves through major world capitals. Iran has issued a direct warning to the United Kingdom and its allies, escalating a conflict that, until recently, was seen as local but now risks spilling far beyond the borders of Israel and Iran, with potentially far-reaching consequences. Let's break it down. But first, don't forget to like this video and support us by subscribing to the channel. Tensions are rising rapidly, and in recent hours Iran has issued specific threats not only to the UK, but also to the United States and France. The Iranian regime has made it clear that if any of these Western powers assist Israel in its military actions against Iran, their own military installations and naval assets in the region will become targets. This grave warning comes after a night marked by intense missile exchanges between Israel and Iran, one of the most dangerous and severe escalations in recent years. Explosions were reported in multiple areas, the result of coordinated offensives by both countries in retaliation for previous strikes. The situation remains highly fluid, and the risk of a broader regional conflict is increasing. Iran's threat should not be dismissed as mere rhetoric. It comes at a time when Western powers are carefully weighing their involvement and geopolitical commitments. Tehran's message is unambiguous: stay out or face direct retaliation. In the UK, a Downing Street spokesperson confirmed that Prime Minister Keir Starmer held a conversation with US President Donald Trump to discuss the intensifying conflict between Iran and Israel. Both leaders agreed on the importance of keeping diplomatic channels open and prioritizing dialogue. Starmer also reiterated the UK's deep concern over Iran's nuclear program, which London has long viewed as a serious threat to global stability. In France, President Emmanuel Macron also issued a statement. While he stressed that France would not take part in offensive operations against Iran, he affirmed that his country stands ready to support Israel should Iran carry out further attacks. Macron described France's support for Israel as unconditional and expressed hope that there is still room for renewed diplomatic negotiations, although, given current developments, that hope appears increasingly remote. Tensions escalated further following remarks from Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, who delivered a stark warning aimed at Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. In his statement, Katz warned that Tehran will burn if the attacks continue, accusing Khamenei of using the Iranian population as human shields in service of a dangerous ideology. He stated that if Iran does not halt its missile attacks on Israeli civilian targets, the military response will be overwhelming. According to Katz, the Iranian regime is imposing a catastrophic fate on its own people, particularly the residents of Tehran, by making them pay the price for attacks launched against Israeli civilians. He declared that if missile strikes on Israeli territory persist, the consequences for the Iranian capital would be devastating. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu fully backed these statements, saying that Israel will continue its military campaign against Iran for as long as necessary to dismantle threats and protect its people. Israeli officials insist that these strikes are not symbolic gestures, but rather precise, strategic operations aimed at disabling Iran's missile capabilities and preventing further attacks. Meanwhile, the United States has already become actively involved on a military level. A senior U.S. official confirmed that American forces assisted in intercepting Iranian missiles headed toward Israel during last night's bombardment. Although the full extent of U.S. involvement remains classified, this disclosure confirms that Washington is directly engaged in Israel's defense, something Iran had already condemned even before issuing its latest warning. At the United Nations, Iran's representative, Amir Seydaravani, launched a strong rebuke of Western nations, stating that the current confrontation is not merely a regional dispute, but a direct attack on the international order. He argued that the strikes on Iranian territory violate the UN Charter and placed full responsibility on the United States for what Tehran views as an unprovoked assault on its sovereignty. At present, all parties involved remain on high alert. Air defense systems across the region have been activated, military assets are being strategically repositioned, and emergency diplomatic channels are working around the clock to prevent the outbreak of a full-scale war. However, with explicit threats now being made against the UK and its allies, the level of risk is higher than ever. We are witnessing a rapidly evolving crisis with the potential for global repercussions. We will continue to provide updates as the situation develops. In other news, Chancellor Rachel Reeves has admitted that she does not currently have a clear solution to replace the use of hotels for housing Channel crossing migrants, despite her commitment to end the practice within 4 years. During the presentation of her spending review, she acknowledged that no concrete alternative has yet been identified to replace what she described as an excessively costly accommodation model. When asked where new asylum seekers would be housed, Reeves shifted responsibility to the Home Office, led by her cabinet colleague Yvette Cooper. In recent hours, several reports have suggested that the Home Office may be acquiring hotels with the intention of continuing to use them to house asylum seekers, albeit under a different classification. According to the political blog Guido Fawkes, some properties in cities such as Bristol and Cardiff could be reclassified as standard migrant accommodation, thereby avoiding the formal label of hotel. This tactic would allow the Labour Party to technically fulfill its pledge to end hotel use, while maintaining a similar form of accommodation, still at significant public expense. Current estimates suggest that spending in this area could continue to rise into the billions, despite the government's stated aim of cutting such costs. The Home Office has firmly denied these claims. Official figures for the 2023 to 2024 financial year show that the UK spent £3.1 billion on asylum seeker accommodation, out of a total asylum support budget of £4.7 billion. Speaking in the House of Commons, Reeves blamed the previous Conservative government for leaving behind a broken system, pointing out that billions of pounds in public funds were spent on housing people in hotels, without providing sustainable solutions and shifting the burden of failure onto local communities. She stated that the current government would not allow that situation to continue and confirmed that, under the leadership of the Home Secretary, the use of hotels to house asylum seekers will be phased out during this Parliament. However, the Conservative opposition has strongly questioned the feasibility of the plan. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp argued that the government's strategy is based on the illusion that hotels will somehow empty themselves, and criticized the absence of a clear plan for where the current occupants will be relocated. Ultimately, while Reeves has reaffirmed Labour's commitment to ending hotel use for asylum seekers, major questions remain over how the policy will be delivered in practice. The lack of concrete alternatives, combined with rumors of potential administrative maneuvers, has led many to believe that the pledge risks becoming a matter of semantics rather than genuine reform. For now, the government's stated ambition to reduce spending and reform the asylum system is overshadowed by mounting political pressure and a clear absence of short-term solutions. Do you think the Labour Party will succeed in ending the use of hotels, or are we simply witnessing a change in wording rather than real reform? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective is essential to understanding the real impact of these decisions. And if you want to stay informed about what's truly happening in the UK, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.